Hello, everyone. Myself, Puja Shah, and today I am joined by Sue, and we are going to talk about how can somebody help themselves when they are healing. Like healing is when it's not just the absence of symptoms or the disease, but it is also going back to the state where you feel better than before. So stay tuned till the end because we have some amazing stuff to share, myself and Sue, the amount of experience that um like what have we experienced with people and what are we seeing and what is it that is really helping. And that is the experience that we would like to share with you. And at the end, I have a gift for everyone who has attended the session for up until the end. So stay tuned. And hello, Sue. Please
Hi,
introduce
Peter.
yourself.
Hi, I'm Sue. I'm very glad to be here today to have this chat. I've been working with people for about 10 years. I started with a specific and very special interest in clearing trauma, but I've now gone on to not only clearing the trauma, but helping to change mindset and beliefs. And the other thing that I'm very keen on teaching people is how to self-regulate, which is what you were saying about giving people the tools in their own lives
Yeah,
to
yeah,
help themselves navigate it in a perhaps calmer and easier way.
that is so amazing. So would you like to talk about like if somebody wanted to work with us, what sort of, people do we work with? Let's start from there.
Okay, sure. I tend to work with mostly women, uh, probably mostly older women who are perhaps children just leaving home or have left home, or
Okay.
maybe they're going through a divorce.
Okay.
And very often those women come to me because all those things are transitional and hard. And then very often what people come to me for is not what we end up dealing with, and I'm sure you know that.
Right.
And sadly, for a lot of those women who come to me, when after we've built the rapport and they feel comfortable, at the bottom of it, I find there's been some sort of sexual abuse as a child, and
Yeah.
that's very, very sad. And I don't know how it can be. It just crops up again and again and again and again.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so interesting you said that, it's not the thing that we end up working on.
Mm,
It's the very much thing that they wanted to work on. So yeah, I
mm,
work
mm.
with almost everybody across the board. So any age. The youngest that I have worked so far is 37 weeks, and I've done that through
Oh,
surrogacy. Yes,
yes.
yes. And I was not expecting that until it came to me. So,
Mm,
and the oldest is probably 84 that I have
mm,
worked on. So it could be anybody.
mm,
Having a non-healing issue. So they have tried everything, every modality, every diet, every alternative medicine, and they have found some relief, but not up to the mark. And
mm,
my job is to find out why has all of those treatments not worked so far, and then take it forward because I have a huge respect for doctors, chiropractors,
mm,
and other alternative medicine even if it is something as simple as like visualization or meditation. It's just about
mm.
finding out, like you rightly said, I call them ACEs, like adverse childhood experiences. It's about
Yes.
finding out what is it that person has
Mm,
gone through in their life
mm,
in the early years, which is
mm.
impacting their life later. And the research
Yes.
has suggested that, somebody having more than four of ACEs, so there is
Mm,
seven domains of like
mm,
say health, social environment, psychological factors, etc. So there are
mm,
seven domains like that, and then there are factors within that. So
mm,
was there sanitation when you were growing up? Were you being taken care of by like, your immediate carer or mother?
mm, mm,
How
mm.
much nurturing
Yes.
did you get? How much of the access did you have to the health and the hospitals? How much
Mm,
like were you left alone? How many times
mm.
were you rejected when you were young? So these are the
Mm.
factors that could affect somebody's
Of
day-to-day.
course.
And I'm
Yes.
sure you must have seen the same that, we do not often tend to associate those ACEs, like the experiences in childhood, with the current
Mm,
medical issues that we are facing. Like if somebody has an autoimmune disease, we do not tend to think like, oh, it's because of the ACE in the past. Like there was no
mm, mm,
nurture me, for
mm,
example. And then
mm.
there were also other factors alongside with them, which is affecting your health today. So it's all about finding out what was it that you had to go through and how is it impacting your life today.
Indeed, indeed. And childhood,
Yeah,
we're like sponges when we're children. We
yeah,
don't have a critical faculty. We cannot analyze. We can't assess. So
exactly,
what comes to us comes into us, and things that people say or don't say,
exactly.
the care we get or don't get, or the environment we're brought up in,
Yeah,
which for many people can be also, can be very toxic.
absolutely.
Uh, and
Yeah,
it doesn't, even if it's not toxic, there can be just things that happen within
yeah,
that
yeah,
environment that
yeah,
can just, if it something lands in a
yeah,
way that shocks somebody,
yeah,
it can have an impact on them and run their lives.
absolutely. Yeah. Well,
It's all in our unconscious minds.
yeah, yeah. It was like we were recording when we were at that
Mm,
age, and today we are just replaying that recording.
mm,
And we,
over and over and over
yeah, yeah, and we,
until we change it or can change it. And
yeah,
sadly, I feel far too many people don't actually know they can change it.
yeah,
They
yeah.
think that what they've got is what they're stuck with.
Yeah. So why
And
don't we just start from there? Like, how could we change it and how could we help? And this is where we
mm,
in the expertise that I do, and I'm sure you have expertise to offer
mm,
to them too.
mm,
So, would you like to talk about how would you help somebody who is like, had trauma? Let's start from there because there are other factors. I'm not saying there is only trauma,
yes.
the other things, and this is where I would muscle test and find
Mm.
out. But then, yeah, like now, let's just keep it to the subject of trauma in the childhood affecting your health today. So, how would you help somebody if you would find out that they had trauma which is affecting their, let's say, health, or they have suicidal tendencies, maybe?
Um, I would I would ask them to write me if I feel they're capable of it. I'd ask them to write me a biography, especially if the sort of high and low points of their lives. Not everybody can do that. So if they can't do that, I'd find another way of finding out. But it
Right.
would them and it would take a little longer. But if I get that, I can start to drill into where we need to go a bit sooner. Um, and then one of my jobs is to help people not to rush into their traumas
Right.
because there's this thing called a trauma pull. And they go, I've got trauma, I've got trauma, I've got trauma. Help me, help me, help me. And it's like, just step back. Let's not just rush into it. Let's just work around the edges a little bit, bring it down gently. And
Right.
that's really important,
Right.
not to dive straight into the worst possible thing.
Absolutely.
Uh,
Yeah.
and then just start bringing the energy of that, the energy being the emotional energy around it down. And
Yeah.
there are many tools and techniques that I can use to help bring that emotional energy down. And
Yeah.
I try and I intuit to a large extent what works for people, but
Yeah.
also sometimes we just try something out. So I use tapping, which is fine, but some people don't like tapping. I use
Oh,
eye movements, which is fine, but some people, if they've had any kind of vertigo or epilepsy or anything like that, wouldn't go near it.
oh,
And the one that I love is havening, which is this gentle touch, very
yeah.
gentle touch. And I think this relates to you. I mean, with the muscle testing, it's about touch.
Yeah.
And when we're doing this, and I can guide somebody through
Yeah.
what they're working with. We can create big change for them and bring down a lot of emotion
Yeah.
around any event or any or a series of events or a theme.
Yeah, yeah, that is interesting. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with what you said, like the about the emotional part.
Mm,
So,
mm,
in my
mm,
case and in my experience, I have seen that a lot of people that we work with is, which is mainly like chronic conditions, chronic illness, and
mm.
um, what I have seen is people do not always often remember what happened to them when they were at the age of 5.
No, they don't.
No, so here I am. I'm sitting here. I'm finding out, okay, what is the field and what is the priority? Again, I'm using muscle
Mm,
testing and finding that out and
mm,
not necessarily kind of asking the
mm,
person, and they can jump in anytime if they have answers while I am clearing.
mm,
And again, I'll just go into it and I find out, yes, this is age 5. Okay, we know that. Now, what else do we need to know? Like in
mm,
terms of what were the emotions that they felt? It could be horror, it could be threat,
mm,
it could be fear, it could be
mm,
abandonment, it could be
mm,
kind of unsupported, uncertain.
mm,
So imagine a 5-year-old going through all those emotions, and those emotions have been kind of buried into them for
mm,
since they were age of 5. And imagine they
mm,
30, 40, 50, 60 years today.
mm,
And
mm,
imagine the cumulative effect. It's not just what happened to you at the age of 5. Maybe that was the starting point, but it's about like, okay, then what next did happen to them, which was kind of adverse experience.
mm,
So it is a cumulative effect.
mm,
And think of the interplay that one, two, three, four traumas together when they are
mm,
together. Like, what will be the belief of that person, right? So, this is what I am again going to muscle test and find out. Often,
mm.
the most common beliefs that I have seen is the world is not safe. You know,
Yes.
God was not there to support me.
Mm, mm,
Yeah, I have to suffer so much for the mistakes of others. So these are
yes.
some of the beliefs that come out.
Mm,
And
mm,
try and imagine like you, like we as human beings, myself included, we are carrying those beliefs within ourselves. And then
mm,
we are wondering like, I'm doing everything, every diet, every
mm,
alternative medicine, and nothing is working because
mm,
it's kind of a unseen kind of written contract that we have
mm,
with our unconscious that I have to suffer for the mistakes of others. And
mm.
leaf falls out from the tree and you feel I have to suffer because it was my mistake, right? So
Yes. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
imagine, and this is like very vague example, but like this is in terms of your job or your relationships or
Mm,
something to do with like your personal life. So this
mm.
this is across the board. So that belief is like kind of bogging you down. And
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah,
And the thing is, once we create one of those beliefs, so let's take, for instance, the world isn't safe.
right.
We've got this part of our brain called the reticular activating system. Have you heard about this?
RAS, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, sure. And what that does, it kind of filters what we see and what we see. So we don't see if we've decided that at some point the world is unsafe, then what we notice are those things that confirm that. So we'll be looking at the television and we will notice that there's been a plane crash. We will notice, oh, that was that came into my mind because there has been, hasn't there? Or we will notice, pick the paper up or go onto our phones and notice something where somebody's been hurt or damaged or whatever.
Yeah.
And we don't see the good stuff.
No.
We don't see that somebody was kind to somebody, and
It's
we
not that
interpret everything
it's
through
not
that
that we
filter.
don't it is not that we don't want to see when we say that we see,
No,
right? It's that they do want to see. It's just that they are wearing this lens of a belief
yes,
which is a lie. So
yes,
only
absolutely.
once you have cleared that belief, which is a
Mm,
lie, like like God is punishing me. No, that's
mm,
a lie. God
mm,
never punishes us, right?
mm,
So it is
mm,
just about the experiences that we have been through because of which we carry this belief. And until
yes,
we are aware, I think the first step that I would suggest for anybody who are self-healers and who wants to help themselves is to be aware. The first thing is we have to
mm,
be aware that we have this
mm,
belief, which is a lie. Anything which
mm,
kind of uh,
mm,
is not that heavy and the lie feels very heavy. So that is a simple way
mm.
to find out whether it's a truth or a lie. I would just go and muscle test, but for somebody who can't, this is a simple way to find out like, does this really feel true to me in my gut? If
Yes,
the answer is
yes,
no, then that's a lie.
yes.
So
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. How true is this? Is a very powerful question
sure.
to ask of yourself or anybody else if you're challenging a belief.
Yeah, yeah,
How true is it? How true is it? And what is the supporting evidence?
yeah.
And very often when you start looking for that, there isn't any.
Yeah, yeah.
You
And
find that there's not.
again, yeah, and again, truth, that the something which is true for Sue could be
Mm,
false for me.
mm,
And that's not
mm,
what we're talking about. We are not talking about the perspective. What we are talking about here is
mm,
the truth with the capital T.
absolutely. And
Yeah,
I'm sure you've met this a very common belief that I think we all run to some degree, but some people more than others. I'm not good enough.
yeah, yeah.
And when you challenge somebody then and you say, what's the evidence? And you say, well, my mother told me. Well, okay, but is it true?
Yeah.
Where is your supporting evidence? How do you know that you're not good enough?
Yeah.
And how will you know when you are good enough?
Yeah.
Those questions can really start to open doors for people to start to see that these beliefs can change, and that
No.
they're not cast in tablets of stone in the way they think that people often think that they are.
Absolutely. I'm so glad you brought that up, Sue, because, I would like to again go back to the example that you gave. So,
Yes.
okay, if somebody listening to this recording is feeling as if, yes, that hit home with me, what Sue said is, I am not good enough. I am
Mm,
testing, yes, this is true. Yes, okay,
mm,
more than 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80% of people whom I have worked with have felt this
mm,
belief, which is, I am not good enough. So, I
yes.
to take a moment and go into that for
Mm,
so for the example that Sue gave is okay, where did you have that belief from? Okay, my mom said it. Okay,
mm,
so now the next question I'm thinking is this belief generational? Like, so
mm,
I am not good enough is a belief that you have. Is this the
mm,
belief from your own lifetime? The person that
mm,
I'm thinking about right now, I get a no. This is not from
mm,
this lifetime. This is
mm,
generational. I get a yes. Okay.
mm,
More than one, more than two, more than three, more than four, more than five. So the belief is being carried from five generations.
mm,
Right. So this is the beauty. So what is the origin of that belief? Why did
mm,
somebody have that belief? Right. What
mm,
happened to them? Now, there is something that we call as do not go into the drama of the trauma. So we do not
mm,
necessarily need to know, oh yeah, this
mm,
happened and then this person did that and then we did this to kind of protect ourselves. And no, that's not
mm,
what I'm talking about. And as
mm,
much respect I have for your journey that you have been going through for so long and whatever you
mm,
had to go through in the past, with
mm,
due respect, it has only served you to a certain extent. And it is time that we see things differently of how kind of the past was and what
mm,
we really need to learn. Because
mm,
this is not about blame, it is about finding out, okay, what happened in the past, which is affecting me today. And we are ready to clear that so that we can welcome the bright, healed future that is waiting
mm,
for us. So this is not
yes.
about blame. It is not also about denying. And I'm not even saying that you have to forgive that person right now. It's just that
Mm,
we need to be aware of, okay, this is what has happened. This is the impact
mm,
on me, and then we clear it. That is all we are doing here.
yes. That's what I do as well. It's not about blaming. It's not about blaming, and it's not even about forgiving.
No, no.
Uh,
Not at this
because
stage.
well, in a sense it is, but
Yeah,
I'm also aware some people think that if they forgive, that somehow they're letting that person off the hook.
yeah.
Have you
But
come
the
across
truth
that?
the truth is we are letting ourselves off the hook.
The souls off the hook. Yes,
Yeah, I'm
absolutely.
not
Yes.
saying that you do not ever need to forgive them. No, in order for healing to
Mm,
happen, like I'm talking about
absolutely.
100% theory,
Yes.
we
Yes.
want 100% of the healing. We
Mm,
need to forgive them at some point, but
mm,
only happens first when we find out, like, okay, what are the emotions that I felt?
mm,
Are
yes.
beliefs that came out of it? What are
Mm,
intentions and how did
mm,
that event change my perspective towards
yes.
life, towards my work,
Yes.
towards my health? And the things
Mm,
that we were not able to say to a certain person, to certain event,
mm,
and were not able to respond in the way that we really like to respond. This is exactly where our bodies are responding on our behalf. So that is
yes.
that is the whole truth. So we want to find
Mm,
out, why is my body reacting in this way? What is
mm,
reacting to? And
mm,
what do I need to do right now, or think,
mm,
or show to myself, or change some perspective within my own mind so
mm,
my body feels safe? Because it's like you are running away from the tiger all the time. And if we keep
yes.
running, we will be tired. This is like
Mm,
your nervous system is responding to the tiger, which is not in the room. We need to
mm,
come back to the present
mm,
moment. So that is the next step. So when somebody
mm,
has found out, okay, this is what happened, my job is to find out the emotions, the beliefs, the intentions. That's fine. What is the next
mm,
step? Now we need to find out, are we living in the present moment?
mm,
And if not, again, then what is blocking us from living in the present moment? And
mm,
there are tools that we could use to kind of, depending on the trauma somebody has gone through, we can use certain tools to find out,
mm,
okay, what is going to work out for this person. And
mm,
again, keeping an eye on ourselves like a observer from far, that
mm,
if we got triggered, we feel we have healed and okay, we go on with life, something else would happen, and then we got triggered again. This is where we need
mm,
to observe ourselves, and it's okay
mm,
to get triggered. I have done a lot of work on myself. Doesn't mean I won't get triggered. I do. I
mm.
still do.
Likewise.
Yeah, I still do.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's not about blame. It's not about something worked or not. It's about
Mm,
something is still calling my name, and I
mm,
find out why.
mm.
Right.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Uh, as to the why, sometimes we don't always need to know why.
No,
I
no.
think I think for a lot of people now, I'm realizing it isn't not
To be
necessarily about
to
going
be
back to the
honest,
event.
like I always work in that reality. Like we always need to
Mm,
find out the why. So if we find
mm,
out, okay, what is my open door? Like what is in
mm,
me today that is still kind of attaching me to
mm,
the past, my
mm,
past, and
mm,
what do I still need to heal? Because the
mm,
why,
mm,
I would like to differ on that. I feel that why is really important because
mm,
I got triggered on the thing
mm,
which I thought has healed, that is showing me that there was something
mm,
still left for me to heal. So
mm.
there is still something from my side of the street that I need to clear. And
Okay,
then I need to find out, okay, why is this still calling my name and what do I need to clear?
okay.
So that is
I've found with some clients now, it's about clearing the emotions that
right,
resulted from whatever that was.
right, right.
And they don't always need to know what that was. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. Sometimes if you just clear
Oh,
the emotions,
yeah.
it's enough. It's fine.
I see your point. What you are saying is the drama of the trauma, and
Yes.
I would agree with that part. So we don't need to
Mm,
the trauma drama of the trauma. When I
mm.
say why is like what are the emotions, what are the beliefs, the
Yes.
intentions.
Yes.
So that's
Yeah.
the why. So this is the reason why we should
Okay.
come back. So I mean, we are talking around the same thing. That
Yes. Yes, we are.
is the languaging. Yeah, yeah,
It's language. Yes.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
always language, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's just that we are practitioners and we always like,
Yes.
why is this happening, right? So because we want to find that out for our clients
Mm,
and we want to know
mm,
why is this happening? Why is it
mm,
still calling my name? So that's when
mm,
I say why,
mm.
it's about curiosity, staying
Yes.
open, and
Yes.
then just finding out, oh, okay, this is something here still, we
Mm,
still need to do something about this here. And sometimes
yes. That.
what I have also seen is it is simple like resistance. So if
Mm,
I test them, like I'm 100% over any resistance in letting this go, oftentimes I get a no. And then
mm,
I need to find out why are we resistant in letting this go? So that's a whole different story. We can talk about
mm,
hours on resistance piece, but then yeah, we need to find out. Sometimes it's about, I would give you an example of why somebody would be resistant is no, they need to know how angry I am before I could let this
mm,
go.
mm,
I'm resistant to this because if I let this go, they will hurt me again, right? So
mm,
these are the things
mm,
that comes up, and which is true. But then we need
mm,
to find out like the midway, right? So
mm,
still let it go. Still show to yourself that okay, this won't happen again because when this happened, probably I did not know how to set boundaries, but today I
mm,
do. So there is
mm,
like a boundary being set with a very loving manner, and
mm,
it's okay for me to let it go
mm,
once I have set the boundaries, you know.
mm,
So,
mm. For
so
sure.
things like this, depending on like case to case,
Yes.
different symptom to symptom, it's different emotion to emotion, it's different for everyone. So
Yes. So I think it's interesting you use the word curiosity.
yeah,
And I think that's a big part of our job, isn't it? To approach
right,
every client that comes to us
right,
with curiosity.
absolutely,
What
absolutely,
is going on?
yeah,
What is going on?
Yeah,
And how, that's a very powerful question.
right.
how can I help this person to deal
Absolutely.
with whatever it is so that they
Yeah,
can move through their life more easily?
yeah, absolutely.
That's it in a nutshell, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm,
yeah, yeah,
yeah. And obviously we work in very different ways, but I think we're getting very similar results, which is fascinating again, because
yeah.
there is no one size fits all, is there?
Different ways. I think it's a
Mm,
strength. I see doing something differently. If somebody else was doing something differently than me, it's
mm,
strength. Uh,
mm,
However, what I do see is like we should not jump into the conclusions just because something worked for Sue will work for me. That
absolutely, yes.
yeah, so that's where
Yeah.
I feel that muscle testing is so important because
Mm,
one man's poison, like one man's medicine could be other man's poison.
yes.
So it is so important. So especially in the world today where everybody has so much information on the click of the finger and we are overwhelmed. And
Mm,
I think that that's where I come into the picture that, okay, such and such information sounds good for me. Does this
mm,
really test as if it's going to help me before we jump
mm,
into the kind of the modality or the medicine or the food feds, right? So
mm,
before we jump into it, we really need to find out if what we are thinking is what really our body needs. So,
mm,
so that's where I feel like we have so many modalities, we have so many differences in the approach that we take for healing, and everything works. We need to find out
mm,
what order do you require
mm,
for your healing, and then
mm,
which one do you need to pick, right? So
mm, mm,
probably there are 10 things to do, but your body says, I want you to detoxify the mold first so that everything
mm,
you are doing with the alternative medicine or the chiropractor works.
mm, mm.
Or sometimes
Yes.
it is about clearing the ACEs, right? The adverse childhood experiences.
Experiences. Yes.
What
Yes.
do we need to clear? Because sometimes if we are so resistant that, I am not open to getting any help, then none of the
Mm.
friends are going
Then
to.
nothing works and if somebody runs a belief that this can't change and nobody can help me,
Absolutely. Yeah. And
then
my
that's going to be the case, isn't it?
is not conscious. Many
And it,
people right now will go, "Oh no, I am
yes,
open to help," but sometimes this
mm,
is not conscious.
not
Consciously,
conscious. No,
and
no.
consciously, your mind says, "No, this is not safe. It's not
Mm,
supposed to heal right now because if this
mm,
heals, something even worse than this will happen." So they are not
mm,
open for,
yes.
and that is again a fear operating system.
Mm,
So yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah. It's fascinating. It's a
absolutely,
fascinating lives we live, I think.
yeah, yeah.
And and
I
and I love meeting people and finding out what's happening and
yeah,
what can
absolutely,
change for them.
yeah.
I think it's a wonderful, wonderful, very privileged place to be.
Yeah, yeah. And that's the reason why, as I said, anybody listening to this call right now or later, in the recording, I am offering a free 15 minutes call. If you feel that there is something in your life that is holding you back today in terms of your health, your relationship, or your work, then feel free to book a free 15 minutes call with me where you will learn about if this modality is right for you and if this could really help you and how this could help you. So you
Mm,
scan the QR code, which is here, or you can go to meetpuja.com and find the links over there. Also, my email is puja, Puja, at besthealingsolutions.com.
that's very, very, very good offer. Okay. Likewise, if anybody wants to do a call with me and find out, there's a link on my website to do a call. Um, if you put
Can
my name
you,
into Google,
can you,
my email address is Sue Woodriffe. That's my name.
okay,
Sue@suewoodriffe.co.uk, and that's my website, suewoodriffe.co.uk.
okay,
So yeah, and it is about that first call, isn't it? And finding out whether we fit,
yeah, yeah,
because not everybody's my client and not everybody's your client, and you're
right,
not right for everybody, and I'm not right for everybody.
right,
And that call is really about, for me, it's always about that first contact.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and then seeing if we gel, if we fit, if the way we work, the way we think coincides with the person we're talking with, because they don't necessarily. So I'm really glad I've met you, because now I can refer. I didn't know you could do kinesiology online. Actually, that was news to me. I found that out from you.
Yeah.
So and so if I meet somebody now who I feel could benefit from kinesiology, I would know where to send them, because there aren't that I don't come across many kinesiologists. I know one in Salisbury and one in Fareham, and that's a long way from where I am now.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So
No, yeah,
so yeah,
glad. I'm glad to work with those people who could really
yes.
benefit from, yeah, and
Yeah, so that would be
yeah,
great, because if you can do this online,
yeah.
I'm that's fantastic. I didn't know it could happen online.
Yeah, yeah. The benefits and the beauty of working
Mm,
remote
mm,
is that people
mm,
who are living in any area of the
mm,
world, and sometimes
yes.
we don't have like even like the primary care,
Mm,
which is very good. So
mm,
that this
mm,
comes in very handy, and
yes.
yeah, I feel that we are blessed that we could really
Mm,
help them, and we could be there for them. I feel that
yes.
that's a privilege. Yeah.
Yes. And I also, all my work I do online.
Yeah.
I just didn't know you could muscle test online. That was the bit I wasn't sure about. But I suppose you
Oh,
muscle test yourself, tune in a muscle
oh yeah.
test yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yes.
All my
I was kind of aware that that could happen, but I didn't really get that a kinesiologist could actually work through everything in that way. But
right.
then I don't know enough about kinesiology, obviously.
Yeah, and that's okay. See, we don't have to know everything about everything.
No, 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 no.
We and we learn, so that's okay
Yes,
too. And I'm sure
yes.
it should be the same for you, could be the same for you, that we learn so much on a regular basis. And
Mm,
clients come in, they have certain issues. You might have not even probably heard certain of the diseases that they even exist, right?
mm,
So,
mm.
and that's okay because the beauty is we can find out.
Yes, absolutely. We can find out, and we're very lucky again that we live in a time and a place where we
Yeah,
can find out so easily.
absolutely.
Actually,
Yeah,
um, things that we wanted once upon a time, you would have been thumbing through all the books in the library trying to find out. Now it's just on all of our fingertips. As
absolutely.
long as we know the reputable sources to look at,
Yeah,
and I feel that's very important.
yeah, I do.
Um,
Yeah.
I wouldn't just ask ChatGPT about someone's
Oh my
symptoms. I would go
goodness.
to the
Oh,
places that I know that I know I'm going to get valid,
a
good
whole new
information.
subject of asking Chat GPT about your
Yes,
symptoms, right? So, yeah,
yes,
yeah. Yeah.
yes. No, I'm not going there,
A word
because
of
I think
warning, not recommended.
no, no, definitely not recommended, because all sorts of things it just scans it, and it doesn't have the discernment to know,
No,
and
it
it doesn't even necessarily go and look at the websites I know that I would go and look at to
no,
get to
no,
get valid, well documented information,
absolutely.
which is
Yeah.
really important when we're working with people, that we're. Somebody once said to me, actually, and I think this really resonated with me, that our job is to turn when we turn up for a session, our job is to turn up with 100% of ourselves.
True.
That's 100% of our energy, our emotions, our knowledge,
Yeah,
our capacities, 100%. And we're
absolutely.
not responsible for how much our client turns up with. When
Yeah,
our client turns up with 100% as well, and that's when you have the sessions that just fly, isn't it?
it does. Yeah,
But not everybody can.
no,
Especially people who are ill, with chronic illnesses, you can't even think that they're not going to be able to turn up with 100% of themselves.
no.
And our job is to increase that percentage with which they can turn up.
Absolutely, yeah. And that is exactly the reason why,
Mm,
we are here for them
mm,
because
mm,
the reason
yes.
why they have that illness in the first
Mm,
place is nothing to do with like how much attentive we are or how much of the
no.
energy that we bring. It's about like
Mm,
how much of the trauma have we gone
mm,
through that
mm,
this is even happening in first place. And that's the reason why
yes.
they are the ones who needs us the most, kind of.
Mm, mm,
Anyone
yes.
who needs kind of into the healing modality.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, I think you obviously do work a lot with chronic illness. It's not something I do a lot of. I have done, but
Oh,
I
okay.
don't. I don't do a lot of it.
Yeah,
I
I
tend
work
to get I
chronic.
tend to get more clients, more. I mean, illness does come into it, and I've done a whole course on mind-body connection and how trauma turns up in the body. So I always bring that into my work.
Yeah,
But a lot of people come to me because they're depressed or they're anxious or they're grieving or it's more the emotional, mental
right.
um, that I deal with a lot of the time.
Yeah, and that's
Rather,
so powerful too. Yeah, yeah.
yes, yeah.
We need that
So
too.
again, being able
Because
to,
a lot of people go through that in
yes,
today's day and age where there's so many mental health illnesses and challenges.
absolutely,
And so we need more
yes,
people who can support these kind
yes,
of
yeah,
symptoms. Yeah,
yeah. And so that's really where I'm more that. So you're more the chronic illness, and I'm more the emotional, mental
yeah. At the
um,
end of the day, it is all
issues that
interplay. So
people are aware of, but
yeah,
there's this big overlap.
it is
And
all
the
interplay. Yeah.
and I'm not sure that we've really yet grasped fully the mind-body connection,
No,
and a lot of people don't get it,
no.
and have never thought about it,
I
and
think
it's
at the moment more and more people are.
mm, mm,
Yeah, I
yes,
think
yeah,
that's a subject.
it's becoming more
Yeah,
mainstream,
that is
but
a subject for another day, and we can
it
just.
is, isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yes, for sure. So
Yeah,
that,
you need to
that
be on the call and grab that free 15 minutes while it's still there. And
mhm,
I would love to see you on the other side of the journey.
absolutely, and likewise, book a call with me, free call with me on my website. I'm not organised enough to have a QR code up on the screen,
It's
so
fine. It's all there. Yeah, it's all.
brilliant. Well done, you.
Thank you.
It's been lovely chatting with you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, take